Imagine this. You're at an expensive, upscale dinner with your family. The table is set with crystal glasses, linen napkins, polished silverware, the kind of place where even breathing too loudly feels like it'll cost you extra. But while your married siblings sit with the adults at the main table, sipping fine wine and chatting like royalty, your parents point you to the so-called kids' table. Plastic cups, high chairs, little cousins smearing mac and cheese with their hands and giggling as though this were a playground. That was me. My stomach twisted in humiliation, but instead of losing my cool, I smiled politely, stayed calm, and then quietly disappeared. Hours later, my phone was blowing up with 25 missed calls. My entire family was in a panic. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or treated like you don't belong, even by your own family, then you'll understand exactly why this story matters. So, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready to hear one of the most unexpectedly satisfying revenge stories I've ever told. It started with an invitation. My parents had arranged this elegant dinner at a fine dining restaurant. You know the type. Dim lighting, a soft piano playing in the corner, waiters gliding across the room with bottles of wine worth more than a week's paycheck. The kind of place where menus don't list prices, because if you have to ask, you probably shouldn't be there. My parents were so proud of themselves for booking it, as though this single dinner was going to present us to the world as the perfect, united family. I was actually excited. I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd be treated like an equal. My siblings are all married, settled down with their shiny rings and their picture-perfect spouses, while I'm still single, hustling, figuring life out. But I thought tonight wasn't about comparisons or judgment. Tonight was supposed to be about family. But the second I arrived, that illusion shattered. My mum greeted me with a smile, but it was too wide, too forced, the kind of smile you know hides something sharp beneath it. My dad gave me a polite nod, nothing more. My siblings were already seated comfortably at the main table, chatting away like they were members of some exclusive club. And then my mom gestured with her hand. "There's your seat, sweetheart," she said, her voice dripping with false cheer. I froze. Where she pointed wasn't the main table at all. It was a smaller, round table shoved into the corner. The surface was littered with booster seats, plastic cups, and crayons scattered across cheap paper placemats. In the middle, instead of a candle or flowers, sat a jar of Play-Doh. It was the children's table. My nieces and nephews were already there, laughing, one of them with pasta sauce smeared across his cheeks like war paint. I blinked and asked, "Wait, seriously?" My dad chuckled like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Oh, don't make a fuss. It's just for tonight. You're not married, so we figured you'd be more comfortable with the kids." Comfortable. At a table where the highlight was colouring books and plastic cutlery. I felt my throat tighten. 100 sharp retorts rose in my chest, but I swallowed them down. I forced a smile, sat at the table, and pretended everything was fine. But inside, I was burning. Every laugh from the main table stabbed at me like a knife. My siblings toasted with glasses of wine, while I sipped apple juice from a plastic cup with a bendy straw. Their conversations floated over, full of big adult words about promotions, house renovations, European vacations with their spouses. Meanwhile, at my table, a 5-year-old leaned over and asked if I knew how to draw a dinosaur. I smiled and picked up a crayon, but the humiliation gnawed at me with every passing minute. I caught glimpses of strangers at nearby tables watching us, whispering, laughing. They saw a fully grown adult sitting among children, sipping juice and drawing dinosaurs. And my own family acted like it was completely normal, like I wasn't even there. My heart pounded in my chest. My palms were clammy against the cheap paper tablecloth. My thoughts spiraled. Is this how they really see me? Just a child, less than them, not worth a seat at the adult table. The anger built, but I didn't lash out. I didn't cry. I didn't even argue. Instead, halfway through dinner, while everyone was busy clinking glasses and sharing inside jokes I was excluded from, I quietly stood up. No scene, no drama, no confrontation. I just pushed in my chair, walked toward the door, and left. The restaurant doors swung shut behind me, and suddenly the night air hit my face. Cool, refreshing, freeing. A wave of relief washed over me, drowning out the humiliation I had just endured. For the first time that evening, I could breathe. But I didn't go home. No, that would have been too easy, too predictable. Instead, I slipped my phone out of my pocket, pressed the power button, and turned it off. Complete silence. Disappearing. Hours passed. I wandered, cleared my head, enjoyed the peace of knowing that for once I was out of their control. When I finally powered my phone back on, the screen lit up instantly, buzzing and chiming like it had been waiting for me. 25 missed calls, dozens of unread texts, messages from my mum, my dad, my siblings, panic written all over their words. Where are you? Are you safe? Call us back right now. My lips curled into a smile. For the first time that night, it wasn't forced. You see, by vanishing, I flipped the script entirely. They had treated me like a child, powerless, voiceless, someone who should sit at the kiddie table and just accept it. But the second I walked out and shut off my phone, I held all the power. They didn't know if I was angry, hurt, or in danger. And that silence, that uncertainty, it ate them alive. I pictured them back at that pristine adult table, the atmosphere turning sour. My mum's fake smile finally cracking, my dad pacing, my siblings whispering nervously. Did we go too far? Did we humiliate them? Every second they didn't know where I was, the guilt pressed heavier on their shoulders. And the best part? I didn't have to lift a single finger. Hours later, when I finally picked up one of their frantic calls, my mum's voice was trembling on the other end. Sweetheart, where are you? We've been worried sick. Why did you leave like that? I let the silence hang between us. Then, calm as ever, I said, because you sat me at the children's table. Dead silence. You could practically hear the shame bleeding through the phone. My mum scrambled for words. We didn't mean, it was just a joke, she stammered. No, I said, my voice steady, my tone sharp enough to cut through every excuse. It wasn't a joke. You humiliated me, in front of strangers, in front of family, and I'm done pretending it didn't matter. I heard my dad in the background, muttering excuses. My siblings trying to defend themselves, throwing half-hearted justifications into the... But none of it mattered. For once, they were the ones scrambling. And I was the one who stayed calm, in control. I didn't go back that night. I let them stew in their guilt, their panic, their sudden realization that maybe, just maybe, they had gone too far this time. And you know what? It was glorious. Because here's the thing. My revenge wasn't about screaming, throwing a tantrum, or causing a scene in that restaurant. No. My revenge was about dignity. Quiet power. By walking out, I robbed them of their little joke. By ignoring their desperate calls, I forced them to sit in the discomfort of their own actions. And when I finally spoke, I gave them a truth so blunt, so undeniable, they couldn't laugh it off. The image of their panic, 25 missed calls, frantic texts, voices dripping with guilt. That was my payoff. And it was sweeter than any confrontation at that dinner table ever could have been. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't loud. It's silence. It's walking away. It's letting people choke on their own guilt until they realize just how cruel they were. That night taught me something I'll never forget. you don't always need to fight to win. Sometimes the most satisfying justice is simply refusing to play their game. So, if this story hit you as hard as it hit me, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever been underestimated or disrespected by your own family? And how did you deal with it? I want to hear your stories. Don't forget to subscribe for more revenge tales that prove karma always circles back. Until next time, stay strong, stay smart, and never ever let anyone seat you at the kids' table.